My name is Chun Ming, and today was the day that was supposed to change my life forever. Despite my record-breaking mental potential of 19%, the magic array flickered out halfway through. The instructor looked at me with pity as he announced I had received a C-rank Shield Guardian class. I could hear the crowd whispering, their laughter and pity echoing through the massive hall. But I wasn't upset, because a secret charging bar at the bottom of my vision had just reached 99.99%. Suddenly, a chime rang in my head, announcing that my 3-year wait was finally over. I unlocked a hidden talent that guaranteed an SSS level skill every 10 levels. My first skill was Absolute Defense, a passive ability that ignored all damage from weaker enemies. Even if the enemy was stronger, they would only ever deal 1 point of damage to me. With my high constitution, I had effectively become an immortal bug in the system. The hall went crazy as Chin Shiwa, the school genius, awakened an SS rank Holy Radiant Angel class. My former teammates immediately demanded I leave the Morning Light squad to make room for her. They even offered me a single gold coin to quit, treating me like a common beggar. I didn't waste time arguing and simply kicked them out of the team I had created. To everyone's disbelief, the SS rank Angel herself walked past them and asked me to team up. I told her I would go solo for now and we would team up later for the dungeons. I headed to Breezewood Forest alone, knowing my strategy required me to be the only target. A level 1 spike roller beast suddenly lunged at me, spinning like a spiked cannonball. I raised my blade to block, but the damage indicator showed a big fat 0. It literally felt like a light tickle on my skin as the spikes tore my clothes, but not my flesh. I struck back, dealing double damage as I targeted the beast's weak points. I calculated that I could hit level 2 in half a day, a speed reserved for S-rank geniuses. I ignored the weaklings and pushed deeper into the forest to find level 2 monsters. 3 spike rollers surrounded me, but I didn't even bother to dodge their attacks. A level 2 beast managed to hit my back, but it only dealt a single point of damage. Nearby fighters watched in silence as I calmly slaughtered the beasts without flinching. I reached level 2 and felt a surge of power as my constitution doubled to 1,200. I crossed the boundary into the Royal Beast Forest, ignoring the warnings of the exam guide. A level 3 red tusk boar crashed out of the trees, looking at me with disappointment. I drew my blade, ready to show this oversized pig that I wasn't an easy meal. Its crimson charge slammed into me so hard the ground shook, yet I only lost 1 health. I wore the boar down and claimed its level 3 beast core as my prize. A level 4 two-headed rattlesnake dropped from the trees, aiming to inject me with deadly venom. It bit me, but Absolute Defense blocked the poison from even seeping into my skin. I smiled as the snake waited for a toxin to kill me that simply didn't exist. Killing the snake rewarded me with an incredibly rare comprehensive dungeon token. By the end of the day, I had reached level 3, appearing in front of the city like a beggar. Chin Shiwa saw my state and cast Angel's Blessing on me, wrapping me in a golden light. The city rankings dropped, revealing that a C-rank Shield Guardian was now in 2nd place. The world thought I was being carried, but I knew I was just getting started. The morning sun cast long shadows as I approached the entrance of the forbidden Howling Cave. I checked my status screen to ensure my Absolute Defense was fully calibrated for the coming onslaught. This wild dungeon was known for its lethal traps and monsters that usually required a full S-rank party to clear. I took my first step into the darkness, hearing the heavy clank of my iron boots against the stone floor. A pack of shadow stalkers lunged from the ceiling with claws extended like obsidian daggers. I raised my massive shield without flinching, bracing for an impact that would crush an ordinary man. Their strikes landed with a dull thud, showing only the familiar single digit of damage overhead. I swung my shield forward in a wide arc, using the weight of my defense as a lethal weapon. The monsters disintegrated into pixels, leaving behind a trail of experience orbs and rare loot drops. I noticed a strange, shimmering crystal embedded deep within the cavern's central pillar. My system notification chimed, identifying the object as a core of mental resonancy. These resources were the key to unlocking the mental potential I needed for the SSS rank evolution. I began the extraction process, feeling a surge of raw energy flow through my fingertips. My head throbbed as the mental resource forced my consciousness to expand beyond its current limits. With the final pulse of light, my mental potential climbed another 3%. However, the massive energy discharge had alerted the dungeon boss, a giant stone golem. The floor shook as the behemoth roared, its voice sounding like grinding tectonic plates. I slammed my shield into the ground, creating a shockwave that stabilized my footing. The golem brought down a fist the size of a carriage directly onto my head. I didn't even bother to dodge, trusting entirely in the absolute nature of my defense. A single point of damage registered as the stone shattered against my unbreakable barrier. I counterattacked by channeling my stored energy into a single, devastating shield thrust. The golem's core exploded, sending fragments of rock flying in every direction. I wiped the dust from my shoulder and began collecting the massive bounty left behind. My phone vibrated incessantly with notifications from the city ranking board. My name had rocketed past hundreds of elite hunters, landing firmly in the second-place spot. Somewhere in the city, the high-ranking guilds must be losing their minds over this anomaly. Meanwhile, at the Hunter Association headquarters, the directors were staring at the data in disbelief. How can a C-rank support class clear a level 5 wild dungeon alone? One of them shouted. I exited the dungeon, finding the entrance surrounded by news crews and curious onlookers. I walked past the cameras without saying a word, my presence alone commanding silence. Qin Xiaohua was waiting for me by the edge of the perimeter, her expression a mix of awe and worry. "You really did it," she whispered as I approached her. I nodded, knowing that our alliance was about to become the most powerful force in the country. But my progress was still too slow for the upcoming national exam. I needed to find the hidden Wolf King Sanctuary to reach the next tier of mental resonance. Reports indicated that no one who entered that zone had ever returned with their sanity intact. I began preparing my gear, reinforcing the straps of my shield for the freezing temperatures. Rumors of my rank jump had reached the ears of the arrogant S-rank students at the capital. They wouldn't let a mere C-rank take the spotlight without a fight. I felt their eyes on me, but I didn't care about their petty jealousy. Just as I crossed the border into the Wolf King's territory, my radar picked up a massive heat signature. Something far larger than a wolf was stalking me through the whiteout. Suddenly, a massive icy claw swiped through the fog, nearly missing my head. I realized too late that this wasn't just a monster hunt, it was a carefully laid trap. From the shadows of the storm, a familiar voice called out my name with murderous intent. I turned toward the voice as a massive figure emerged from the swirling snow of the Wolf Peaks. It was a rival seeker from the city, his face twisted with envy and a blade glowing with dark mana. I raised my heavy shield, feeling the weight of the absolute defense skill coursing through my veins. Without a word, he lunged forward, his blade striking the center of my shield with a deafening crack. A small -1 digit floated above my head, mocking the full power of his desperate attack. I pushed him back with a shield bash that sent him tumbling into the freezing drifts. Leaving the defeated rival behind, I turned my attention toward the entrance of the Wolf King's lair. The air inside the cavern was thick with the scent of wet fur and ancient, lingering magic. I checked my status window, noting that my mental potential had finally stabilized at 20%. I moved deeper into the shadows, avoiding the patrols of smaller frost wolves guarding the tunnels. In the center of the main hall sat the Wolf King, a beast the size of a carriage with fur like silver needles. Beside the beast lay the heart of the tundra, the legendary resource I needed to finish my awakening. I stepped out into the open, intentionally clanking my shield against the cave wall to draw its attention. The Wolf King let out a bone-chilling howl that caused the very ceiling to tremble. It charged at me with the speed of a falling star, its claws extended like daggers. I braced myself, planting my feet firmly into the stone floor as the impact rocked the room. Once again, the legendary beast's power was reduced to a mere tickle by my absolute defense. While the king was recoiling, I reached out and touched the heart of the tundra, beginning the absorption process. Intense cold flooded my body, threatening to freeze my very soul as the mental attributes poured in. The Wolf King attacked relentlessly, but I became an immovable mountain in the center of the storm. A notification flashed before my eyes, announcing that I had reached the limit of attribute absorption. My mind expanded, and the world seemed to slow down until I could see the vibrations of every atom. I had awakened the perfect mental skill, Sovereign's Presence. I looked at the Wolf King, and the beast immediately whimpered, dropping to its knees in submission. With the dungeon cleared and the resources claimed, I walked out of the cavern and into the sunlight. Waiting at the base of the mountain were the city's high-ranking officials and the S-rank genius, Chun Ming. They had come to rescue me, only to find me carrying the head of the Wolf King and radiating godlike power. Chun Ming stepped forward, a genuine smile replacing her usual cold expression. The rankings were updated instantly, placing my name at the very top of the national leaderboard. I looked back at the mountain, thinking of the journey from a ridiculed C rank to the world's strongest guardian. No longer would a rank define a person's worth in this world of heroes. I shared a quiet moment with Chun Ming as we planned for the future of our new guild. The city was safe, and the monsters that once terrified us were now merely stepping stones. My shield would remain a bastion for the weak, a symbol of absolute protection for all eternity. I closed my eyes, finally feeling the peace that comes with true mastery over one's fate. The system message appeared one last time, confirming the completion of my final hidden quest. A new era had begun, and I was ready to lead the way into the unknown. My story would be told for generations, the tale of the man who turned one damage into an empire. With my friends by my side and my shield in hand, there was nothing left to fear. The journey was over, and the Guardian's Watch had finally achieved perfection.